Hey guys, it's Mathil here once again, and first of all, sorry I haven't been too YouTube present lately. Been kind of focusing on leveling the characters, and there wasn't much to share, and as well as that, I had food poisoning for a couple days where I was just completely out of commission, wasn't leaving bed or the toilet side, and yeah, pretty much back now, feeling a lot better, and ready to make a few more videos if need be. And currently, need be, because this character here is now a level 92 Deadeye. I rolled this guy specifically with the purpose of using some of the abyssal shit that I picked up from the Assassin Ice Nova character, who is level 96, hit rank 3, top 3 currently still, even after a week of just sitting around, because the Assassin ladder is just an absolute graveyard, and I thought, you know, it'd be nice for a change of pace to play another character and try and push another demigods, and I tried to make use of all of the solo self-found gear that I have in the form of this Deadeye Molten Strike character. So I don't have anything terrifically synergistic here, it's just throwing on some of my abyssal shit, a decent belt I have, and a couple of wasp nest claws, and then just stacking some flat elemental damage to try and get a Molten Strike build happening as a Deadeye, which could have gone any way really, could have been any of the Ranger Ascendancies, but Deadeye currently looked the least competitive at the time, and there is some good stuff to say for the Deadeye with Molten Strike anyway. Tailwind is really nice for a lot more attack speed, and as well as that, bit of evasion. You go up to Endless Munitions to have some increased area, which makes Molten Strike clear just a little nicer, as well as the additional projectile, and then I've also picked up the Rupture node, which gives you even more life gain on hit, as well as some crit and crit multi. So throwing out a good 6 projectiles per Molten Strike attack, with Ancestral Call going off, attacking as fast as I do with multi-strike, meaning you have something like 70 life gain on hit per ball, and when there's a lot of things around, or when you're getting a lot of your attacks out against a single enemy, you are damn near unkillable. All you need to do is try and maintain a high enough life pool and some sort of defenses so that you never really get one shot, and you know, about that, it's just going to be kind of positioning at the end of the day, and of course you are kind of melee in the form of, well, sort of not a huge screen-wide AoE, so you do have to be a little bit melee in this pretty dangerous league, which isn't the greatest, but playing a little bit carefully, as you can see through these clips. And having good life gain on hit, good sustain, means that it is doable. So currently level 92, pushing for 93, and hopefully gonna get another demigods here, but it means I have to hit at least level 96, and it is kind of a tall order, given I've had a few close calls here or there, and I'm not one for living that long. But so far, a level 96 and a level 92 without dying, which is somewhat surprising, and this Molten Strike character is pretty damn fun to play. There's nothing too specific build-wise, gear-wise, or setup-wise that I can really talk about. I will, of course, go over it, but just saying, in general, it's kind of a slap-together character and just do your best, because there's nothing that excels here too much. My damage is nothing incredible, my survivability is decent, it's built for hardcore compared to how I'd build a softcore character, so it is a lot tankier, even for these like general red tier, lower tier maps, because here you go, you're just running a tier 12 crystal ore, there's so much shit everywhere with Beyond, and all of a sudden an Abixoth spawns, and that's a tough customer with some of the other mods out there, and it means that you do have to plan for those occasions, and it can get extremely dicey in this flashback sort of league, and that's why you got to build specifically for those situations, and it does mean that I can't really just go all out on damage, and it means that I won't really have the same level of damage as a lot of my softcore characters, especially because I can't really pick and choose a lot of the gear that I would like to have. So basically these abyssal items I have, I've got 2-socket abyssal tomb fist, I've got 2-socket light poacher, so I've got 4 abyssal sockets there, and I don't really make a good use of them at all because I can't get good jewels. Like, that's just all there is to it. I don't have much currency to roll them, can't buy any good jewels, and ultimately all of my jewels combined are worth like one good jewel on a softcore league or a trade league, and that means that my character is way less effective than it otherwise could be, and that my gear really doesn't mean much here. But there are some seriously fun situations still going on here. In this particular map, a Colosseum, it was double beyonded. There was Harbingers, there was Breach, and I was just going from one fire to the next, you know, out of the frying pan into the fire. Kept trying to bail, kept trying to move away, spawning non-stop beyond bosses, accidentally hitting the Breach, and then spawning a Tool boss. And there's an Einhar in here as well, with all kinds of other crazy beasts. And well, Flashback event is just something I'm still having quite a lot of fun with, and that means that it's something I can keep playing and while waiting for Legion League to start. But I do want to go over what the character currently looks like and how I've built it to take on solo self-found hardcore in the currently as a level 92 Deadeye. So here I am on the level 92 Deadeye, SSF gear by the way, the name entirely just kind of poking fun at the fact that I have 2-socket Tomb Fists that have +1 max frenzy charges, because I found them on the previous character. I was pretty tilted at the fact that I got these when I especially didn't need them, viled them, got +1 frenzy, then found a 2-socket light poacher, then found this belt which is pretty nice, and just decided to roll with the 2 wasp nests that I found, and make sort of either a Spectral Throw or a Molten Strike character. And as I was leveling and trying the things out, Molten Strike felt so much stronger with the pretty weak level of damage that I have, because you can see my Abyssal jewels are absolute garbage. So the fact that I have 2-socket Tomb Fists here is pretty fucking meaningless, because this one's kind of okay, got a nice little regal of a crit multi, but otherwise all of the damage coming from these is pretty worthless, whereas usually you should on my softcore trade leagues, for example, be able to get pretty close to an added cold's worth of damage per jewel, right? And currently I'm getting like a level of added cold's damage from the jewel, which is pretty terrible. So I do have 4 jewels. I also don't have any actual jewels on the passive tree, which would be very strong for this type of character. Whether Abyssal or regular jewels that give you lots of crit multi, that sort of thing. They are pretty important, but in this case I can only really get a Wildfire in this situation, which gives you 2 additional projectiles, and is definitely worth getting for the Molten Strike setup. Otherwise, I've just palmed around, grabbed some crit, some damage, point blank, which is very important for Molten Strike, as always. I do need to run phase acro in this league because it's pretty crazy. And then, of course, I went over and grabbed these life nodes, which I only did once I dropped Belly of the Beast. So I was running, let's have a look here. Was running this Belly of the Beast on a 5-link for 91 levels maybe, something like that, or 90 levels. And then I found this 6-link Dragon Scale Doublé and decided to roll it with the 2 pristine fossils I had. Got pretty nice rolls on the life. Don't need the lightning res, I'm well over capped on that, but the life rolls were good. I then chucked on the life mana roll there, and ultimately it's a little bit less life than a Belly of the Beast, but I still needed to make up some life. So previously I was pathed all over here, just grabbing you know, up here, some life nodes, some extra crit over there, but I had to drop all of that and make a pathing this way so that I could get these life nodes, and that still maintains me at 6400 life as a Deadeye, only at level 92, which is a pretty good amount of life to take on most content, but you got to plan for overgearing and overlifing for the hardcore stuff, especially on Flashback when you're going against so much brutal shit. So Wasp's Nests are basically just really good because they have good attack speed, decent little bit of crit, and some physical damage, and that means you can stack a bunch of elemental damage and get good sort of results out of that. I might try and craft an Ellie Claw if I can pick up an Imperial, because at this point they're not that good for me, but they are a very good start, very good base for this type of build. And then I've found whatever I could find for capping my resists. Decent little ring here for some Ellie damage and some resists. Decent little amulet here for a bit of crit multi. Definitely looking for that. A little bit of fizz and some stats. the 2-socket light poacher, which isn't great for me at this point. The green shit you see all the time throughout the videos, that's Spirit Burst going off, and it doesn't really do much damage at the moment. I'm pretty much using it for utility with Assassin Mark Curse on hit. So whenever the Spirit Burst goes out, it'll Curse on hit a few things, and then that means I'll be able to sustain power charges pretty reliably during these maps. But otherwise, nothing too special there. And then the Tomb Fists, of course, give me Intimidate for the most part, and I've got a couple of crappy jewels, one that gives Blind on hit, and then just filling out life otherwise. Boots that just basically do nothing, and a good stun avoidance enchant there, which helps me be stun immune. And otherwise, yeah, just a nice defensive flask setup of immune to curse, bleed, shock, freeze, because on this league, there's so much shit going out that not being immune to shock is pretty damn dangerous. Freeze needs to be up all the time. And then, of course, instead of my usual bleed setup over here, where I just clear bleed off, you really want to be immune to bleed throughout these leagues. And curse, of course, as well. So the current 6th link for Molten Strike here is Molten Strike, Ancestral Call, Multi-Strike, Elemental Damage with Attacks. I then run Added Cold as my 5th link because it's quite a lot of my damage at the moment since I don't have that much damage elsewhere. And Increase Crit as my 6th link because just smoothens out my crit rate. Though if you were really actually properly geared, you probably wouldn't need to use this as a gem link. But I kind of do because it makes things just a bit smoother and it doesn't cost that much on the mana. Now you still use Ancestral Call with Molten Strike full time because if you attack something from an Ancestral Call range, you will triple up your balls on the enemy. So let's say the enemy's standing where the map device is, you want to be, position something like this, and then you'll be able to Ancestral Call them with your 2 extra buddies, and that will be a DPS increase. But it is kind of weird because a lot of the time you can't get that far away from the enemy, or a lot of the time you misjudge an attack from too far away. So Ancestral Call for single target, still a little bit weird, but that's currently where we're at, and definitely using it full time at the moment. So the DPS is nothing impressive. It's like 30 or 40k per ball, when on softcore I've managed to get 300k per ball quite comfortably with Molten Strike, but it is definitely enough to sustain throughout this type of a league. Like I said, you're going for Gathering Winds for Tailwind, you're getting Rupture for the extra life gain on hit and crit multi, and then you go up here for Endless Munitions, which gives you accuracy, area, and an additional proj. So it's a pretty solid choice. It's a very fast-paced character, and it just slaps together whatever gear you can get. Currently, all of that. But you can definitely min-max a lot better. You can use any of the Ranger Ascendancies, Pathfinder, Raider, but this is what I've got, and it's kind of just a solo self-found do whatever you can adventure, and this is doing whatever I can. So then I've also got Herald of Purity, Herald of Ice, though you can run Herald of Ash as well, really kind of up to you, and a Arctic Armor. And then of course a War Banner, place that down for big deeps every now and again. So solo self-found really does push you to do whatever you can, wherever you can. It's certainly not things you can choose most of the time. You just have to go with what you're given and what you found. And a lot of the time it makes kind of a janky character, but hey, it's getting me through to possibly another top 10. If I can get 2 top 10 finishes on this sort of race, I'll be very happy, because I was not even really anticipating to get 1 top 10 finish by the end. The plan of everybody else needs to die and I need to stay alive is currently going pretty well, and we'll see if it can go well for a few more days and hopefully get a few top 10 finishes. So that's the character, guys. Hope you've enjoyed the Flashback series so far, and I'm looking forward to Legion, and I'll see you next time.